We're going to talk about that tech hearing and the implications of tech and much bigger issues with Howard Yu. He's IMD Business School's, he's a professor, and he is the professor of management and innovation, joining us from Hong Kong. Thank you so much for being here. Just want to ask you very quickly, when we do get these CEOs before Congress, do you think that we're going to hear the word antitrust or monopoly used by members of the committee?
Most likely, right? Because this is the sixth hearing about a similar topic, whether the big tech giant are becoming too big and whether they are gonna exhibit continually a monopolistic behavior. What we need to watch out is the kind of definition about this whole notion of monopoly. Because historically, most regulators are paying attention to consumer welfare, but paying much less attention about the dynamic of competition. Now, if out of this hearing, we begin to see lawmakers paying much more attention around whether these big giants are squashing competitors, then maybe the whole dynamic and the paradigm will shift, and that would have a huge implication to business executives around the world.
So Howard, what kind of questions and what kind of information specifically do you think that members of Congress are going to be looking to get from these tech executives when they're testifying?
Well, one key element here is whether these companies are playing the fair games. For instance, right? One of the biggest contention is when Amazon is playing the platform maker that third party can sell their product. At the same time, they're pushing their own category as well, the Amazon Basic. So the lawmakers is really trying to get the evidence, like, what is the intention behind? But more importantly, what are some of the tactics that they are deploying in order to win in that marketplace? Is this notion, when you are the maker of the platform, should you be also a participant on that platform as well? It's the same logic can be applying to Apple Music, all the way to a range of offering by Facebook and other big tech giants as well.
Hi, this is Jared Blickery, by the way. We talked with Congressman Ken Buck, Republican out of Colorado on the House Judiciary Committee yesterday. And I think the standout from that conversation was we have both the Democrats and the Republicans pretty committed to this as a bipartisan effort. And should these tech executives be worried about that?
Oh, totally, right? Because if you think back like 5 or 6, 7 years ago, no politician or lawmaker would dare to even take down a tech company because they look cute, they look innovative, they're giving away free product to consumer, and we all love them. The cool factor is so high. And all of a sudden today, what we're seeing is the likability of these companies are sinking so low that lawmakers together with regulator are really ramping up the scrutiny around these. So I think this is a seismic shift around these 4 CEOs. They really need to think hard about the key messages they want to come across as a sector together. It's not enough that you protect your own firm, but as a sector, they need to present themselves as someone who are coachable, that are not tone deaf, and willing to change and take up more responsibilities at large.
Howard, I want to ask you about the China dynamic as well. As we just heard from Jessica, we have continued to see tensions ramp up between China and the United States. Do you think that will play into the tech scrutiny as well? Because is there a dynamic where, is there any risk of weakening the United States' technology industry at the same time that we are seeing these increased tensions?
Yeah, at IMD, when I work with executives, this is a major key topic that most executives are wrestling around, whether you're in the tech sector or not. Because if you think for a moment, the historic success of Silicon Valley, or even in Shenzhen, China, is because they can develop one offering and sell around the world. Now, Google and Facebook are not in China, but Microsoft and IBM are. So historically, it's this globalized world, connected universe that allow these tech companies to grow up so fast, scale so big, with zero marginal cost in theory. But all of a sudden, in a fractured world, what is required is, if you want to engage in one market as well as the second one, you need to really customize your offering, whether it's storing data or way of getting consumer insight. that would increase costs dramatically on the tech sector. And so maybe the playbook that we are teaching executive are coming to an end.
Professor, you're in Hong Kong right now, so I'm curious, what are you hearing from tech executives there about their concerns about this showdown between the United States and China?
Well, in Hong Kong, you begin to see TikTok, for instance, right? This popular app, they are pulling out from Hong Kong. Now, it's owned by a Chinese company, but TikTok per se as an offering is primarily catered for the Western audience. And because they really don't want to get into such a fight, and they decided to tactically pull out from Hong Kong. So yesterday, a couple of friends of mine actually showed me how they could no longer using TikTok in the city already. So the impact is very real. And what I'm seeing right now, most worrisomely, is the escalation on both sides. There is no effort on de-escalation. And that are creating a lot of uncertainty for the business world when growth is so desperately needed. So it's a very interesting mix right now.
All right. Howard Yu is IMD Business School Lego Professor of Management and Innovation. We appreciate your insight here on The Move.